He was growing into his teenage years and was living in a house in Caramel Valley. He was listed in the school directory as Dominic H.P., and he went everywhere unrecognized. He called himself a high school heartthrob and a history whiz. Rooms seemed hotter when he was in them. Rains fell straight. Clocks slowed. Sounds were amplified. And today, he was going to talk about the Battle of Iwo Jima.
The Americans planned on taking over the Japanese island of Iwo Jima for its crucial advantage of an airway and as a staging area for the eventual invasion of Japan. But the Japanese had already begun fortifying the island by March of 1944. The commander of the island's garrison was Tadamichi Kobayashi. He knew that an American victory was inevitable, so he resolved to make it as costly as possible. And that he did. The Japanese strategy was to have a layered defense and strong positions. They had 19,000 yards of caves, bunkers, and tunnels, but they were vastly outnumbered. With 21,000 men, compared to the 80,000 strong 5th Amphibious Corps directed by Major General Harry Schmidt, the Japanese had to be resourceful. They had 23 Type 95 tanks. They also had 70 anti-tank guns, which were placed in well-fortified positions. They had 1 year of preparation. Their battle strategy was to let the Americans land on the beaches and from there use a lot of concentrated fire from automatic weapons. On the other hand, the American plan was overseen by Fleet Admiral Chester Nimitz. Capturing the island was their responsibility. As said before, they had about 80,000 men. They also had 3rd, 4th, and 5th Marine Divisions. 4th and 5th were to land side by side on eastern beaches, pivot right, and advance north. Resistance from the 5th would capture Mount Suribachi. There was a 3-day naval bombardment before the main attack. On February 19th, the first wave of Marines came ashore. The Japanese held their fire. It was a bloodbath. There was a casualty rate of 83%. In total, there was 36 days of fighting. By February 23rd, Mount Suribachi was captured, but the Japanese weren't finished yet. On March 8th, the last of the 809 Japanese soldiers charged a secret attack on American lines. They were so low on resources that most of them had to use hand-to-hand combat. By March 26th, the island was secure. The Americans lost 28,000. The Japanese lost their entire garrison. The Battle of Iwo Jima was one of the deadliest in American history. Now on to you, Heath.
One of the most horrific things going on in this current war is the concentration camps. Concentration camps, according to Nazi Germany, was detention of civilians that were seen as enemies of the Reich. In this case, Jewish people. The first concentration camps were built soon after Adolf Hitler became chancellor in 1933. The first ever concentration camp was Dachau, which was built near Munich. There were about 1,000 concentration camps during World War II. Concentration camps' main goal were to incarcerate enemies of the state and to exploit forced labor. At one point, around 1.65 million people were registered at concentration camps. Conditions were horrible and could be fatal, especially after the war. There was limited food, bad housing, intense labor, diseases, and malnutrition, which could result in death.
Let's quickly talk about the biggest, deadliest, and most infamous camp, Auschwitz. It was established in 1940 in the suburbs of Oswiecim, a Polish city annexed by the Third Reich. It was converted from an army barracks into the camp shortly after the start of World War II and Germany's invasion of Poland. Obviously, the oppressed and imprisoned Jews were treated horribly, as the Nazis believed that they were the least valuable of all life. The Jewish prisoners fell victim to starvation, extreme cold, intense labor, constant harassment and abuse, physically and mentally, and the horrific experiments. During the final solution, Auschwitz became the center for exterminating Jews and other prisoners. By July of 1942, Most prisoners arriving at Auschwitz were sent directly to the gas chambers. At least 1.1 million people were killed via these gas chambers. More than 200,000 of those lives lost were those of children and young people. Throughout the camp's operating time, about 802 prisoners tried to escape. 144 were successful.
I'd like to briefly mention the difference between concentration and extermination camps. Concentration camps were to prison people, extermination camps were to kill them. We absolutely do not condone concentration camps or any of the horrific actions of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. We actually have some letters here we'd like to read to bring some light to the experiences of the people who went through this. People have been shot and killed in front of me. Diseases and malnutrition all around. We are forced to do intense and hard labor. Conditions are horrible and people are dying. We barely get any food. Where we sleep is really small and unkept. Says the man in the concentration camp who apparently got shot while writing this. That was very powerful. We surely hope that the war and the oppression will end soon. Now let's get into some more lighthearted stuff and talk about the new film Casablanca. And let's bring in our certified film buff Dominic to talk about it. But first, let's see a quick trailer of the film.
Why don't you come back to America?
I don't like it!
Dude, your ex is back.
I know. Why is she with that hotshot?
Please help me and my wife escape. Please, bro. I need your help.
No.
What about us?
He was looking at you, kid.
Hey! 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 Hey!
So tell us about the film.
Casablanca is a great film. So it's about a bar owner who has to decide if he'll help his ex-lover and her husband escape from the Nazis. They're in French Morocco. It has a seemingly simple plot, but it is woven beautifully and intricately. Rick Blaine, who's the main character, he's played by Humphrey Bogart. He's such a well-done character. In the beginning, even if he isn't the best person, you can't help but sympathize with him. I sympathize with him a lot of the movie. And he goes through such an excellent character arc that may change you for the better. This movie is all around great, and you can't help but fall in love with it. I love it. I urge everyone to see it.
Well, thank you, film buff Dominic, for the review. Well, I also urge everyone to see it. Anyways, let's get into our next topic, sports. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we'll be discussing our sports section of the news with breaking news of the Olympics taking place this weekend. These Olympics will be hosted with first successful Olympics for Deutschland. Here are some highlights from the first day of the Olympics.
It's what you hearing, listen. It's what you hearing, listen. It's what you hearing, listen. X gon' give it to you. Wait for you to get it on your own. X gon' deliver to you. Knock, knock, open up the door, it's real. With the non-stop pop out and stainless steel. Go hard, getting busy with it. But I got such a good heart that I make the mother wonder if you did it. Damn right, and I do it again. Cause I am light, so I got to win. Break bread with the enemy. No matter how many cats I break bread with, I'll break who you sending me. You motherfucker never wanted nothing but your life saved. That's on a life day, I'm getting down. Like it said freeze, but won't be the one.
With 3,963 athletes competing in our wonderful stadium of Olympiastadion Berlin, which was built 200 days to accommodate our 30,000 spectators. The 1936 Olympics and the first ever Olympics to have an opening ceremony, which gets continued on through traditions throughout the Olympics. Hitler dislikes Jewish people very much, which is the reason he decided to only watch 2 days of the Olympics, as most of the athletes were Jewish. Jesse Owens being one of the few African American athletes who participated in the 4x100 meter relay, breaking a world record, leading the time being 39.8 seconds. An enjoyable experience from all the spectators of the first 1936 Olympics from Deutschland.
Here we are at Winston Churchill's house in Britain. Let's go interview him.
Oi! I don't do interviews without my tea and crumpets. Now, please! Okay, ask away.
Who are you?
Are you mad, boy? I'm Winston Churchill.
What is your job?
I'm the bloody Prime Minister of Britain.
What do you do?
I'm minister.
More specific, please.
I rallied my people during this war and I will lead this country to victory during its darkest hour.
What are your thoughts on the war?
It's the bloody Nazis' fault. I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and maybe some fish and chips.
What are your thoughts about Americans?
I'm not much a fan of cheeseburgers and hot dogs, but I will say they will always fancy doing the right thing only after they've tried everything else. Anyways, I'm knackered. You want my autograph?
Sure.
You're very cheeky. What the? Long live the Queen!
Do you have a lonely life as a boring American man who waters his plants and does nothing all day? You probably are. We want you to join the army. Look at Buford. He's handsome, strong, brave, sexy, and he gets the opportunity to kill enemies. Do you want to be like Buford?
Yes, I do.
Then join the army. Dial 1-800-SCREW-GERMANY today. That's 1-800-SCREW-GERMANY. Join now.
We apologize for the interruption. Please excuse me.
His name was Jason Wang, but he was better known as the Nazi hunter. He was an angry revolutionary Chinese man. He was born in 1928 as just a normal Chinese boy. He was raised no different than the others. Rumors say that when he was 4, he accidentally got on a ship that shipped to Europe, and when he got there, he killed a German by shoving a rock down his throat. The only evidence we have of this is a body of a German soldier with a large lump in the hyoid. He killed many Nazis in a concentration camp and set the prisoners free. He saved many lives. He killed many evil men, but sadly, he died by choking on spaghetti. Here we are at his gravesite, where he often receives food and flowers. Italian food is strictly prohibited in this area. Legends say that sometimes you can hear the reloading of his gun in this area.
Well, that's all for today's broadcast. What did you learn, Dominic?
Well, I learned that Winston Churchill is British.
God, you're an idiot, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
What else did you learn?
Well, I also learned that Adolf Hitler didn't commit suicide. He escaped into Hollow Earth.
I told you that.
Fox News. It explains everything, man.
Oh my God, you're so stupid.
You really think Hitler would stay underground for 3 weeks?
Yes, everyone knows that.
I'm telling you, Hitler escaped into Hollow Earth.
Dude, he did not.
Did too.
Did not.
Did too.
Did not.
Did too.
Ah, Mo Green. Mo Green. Hey, Mo Green. Mo Green. No. What it? Ah. Concentration camps according to Nazi Germany. Okay.
Mother.
Camps according to Nazi Germany was a detonation. The first ever concentration camp was Dachau. So tell us about the film. Mulgrew.
I'm the bloody. Start over. Viceman. What was it? In its darkest hour. I have nothing to offer, but maybe some